All okay. Let's observe silence for a few minutes. Om. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6. We'll chant from verse number 14 to 20.
आत्मा विगतभिः ब्रह्मचारिव्रते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तः युक्त आसीत मत्परः युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी नियतमानसः शान्तिं निर्वाणपरमां मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तमनश्नतः न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन युक्ताहारविहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः यदा विनियतं चित्तम् आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा यथा दीपो निवातस्थः नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः यत्रो परमते चित्तं निरुद्धं योगसेवया यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति.
So we are on the second topic of chapter 6. is called External and Internal Disciplines for Meditation, topic 2, verse number 10 to 18. And last week we covered up to verse number 13. 13. Yeah, 10 to 13. See, just to recap, when the topic says external and internal disciplines for meditation, the comparison is to a pond. Did we discuss last week the pond example? No. So it's like seeing your own reflection in a pond. So if the surface of the pond is agitated, if it is disturbed, then you can't see your own reflection in the surface, isn't it? But when the surface is absolutely calm, there are no waves, it's not agitated, it's like a mirror, almost like a mirror. You can see your reflection. So seeing your reflection in a pond, in the calm surface of the pond, the comparison is to the state of self-realization. See, self is something which is you. It is your original nature. You have never lost it. It is not that something which you gain by external efforts. That's your original personality. You cannot lose self, Atman. But for all practical purposes, you and I are not able to understand that we are that self, isn't it? We are not experiencing that state of absolute peace, absolute bliss, because of too many agitations, desires. So it is desires which produce too many agitations. It's a question of more or less. So all spiritual practices, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, we already discussed that. The purpose is to calm the mind. And when mind is absolutely calm and composed, it is an effect of offloading your desires. And in the seat of meditation, the last fiber of desires are removed. So that is when you understand, you realize that you are that truth, you are that divinity, you are that self. So the entire focus is on karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. We have been saying it monotonously. I don't know for how many, last 10, 12, 15 years. And we'll continue saying that for another 10, 15 years, or whatever. So this is the main message in this topic: external and internal disciplines for meditation. Let's continue with verse number 14. So the thought flow continues.
प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभीः ब्रह्मचारिव्रते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तः युक्त आसीत मत्परः प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभीः ब्रह्मचारिव्रते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तः युक्त आसीत मत्परः.
Translation: Prashantatma, serene-minded, fearless, firm in the vow of brahmacharya, the mind controlled, thinking of me meaning the self, supreme reality. Let him sit seeking union with me as the Supreme. So in the scriptures, wherever you find the word I or my, first person pronoun, singular pronoun, it does not mean that particular person. It means the self, the truth, the reality. So you should be serene-minded when you are doing meditation. Assumption is you have already achieved that state. Meditation does not calm the mind. Calm mind takes to meditation. So these are the basics you have to understand. So assumption is you are absolutely calm and composed, hardly any agitations, no agitations. So such a mind is called as prashantatma, serene-minded. So therefore we keep on saying ill-prepared mind cannot take to meditation. It cannot be serene. How can you achieve that state in 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Oh, it is Siri. Yes, Siri also is listening. Okay, so good to know. Right. So let's come back. So meditation is nothing but 99% preparation, 1% inspiration. See, it's like a student. Go back to your student days. A student who has studied throughout the year, who is consistent, right? Never misses lecture, every day he or she studies. Writing final exam is just a formality, isn't it? If you haven't studied, then we know what happens. So if you have not studied throughout the year, no matter what you do during examination time, you cannot get good marks. So whole life you have put efforts to calm your mind, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. So that's your mission in life. So meditation is a formality. So therefore we say meditation is 99% preparation and 1% inspiration. So you are working in a corporate sector, or you could be having your own business and you want to launch a new product. The years and years of research goes into that, isn't it? Some of you are from IT, they will know what I am talking about. So it is tremendous hard work. You go on experimenting, you do research, there is concerted effort, and then launching a product is just a formality. Think every year they launch iPhone in September. I mean, there is a nice presentation, very stylishly they do, and what are the features and all they explain. It's nice. I mean, if you like technology, but the amount of efforts which have gone in is tremendous, isn't it? Sometimes Jigar, he shares his experience. I mean, he handles what sounds in a car. And then he comes and sometimes he asks me, what do you feel about this particular sound? On modern cars, they have sound, especially EVs. If you are backing up, there is a sound and there's some noise cancellation. But amount of research which goes in, how long it takes? Years and years, isn't it? And then you and I buy a car from the market, we put it into reverse and there's a nice sound, but it's just a formality, isn't it? So similarly, meditation is a formality. It's the last effort you are putting. Assumption is you have put efforts entire life. And such a person is fearless. Such a seeker is fearless, meaning not worried about the result. He is not result oriented. Will I attain self realization? Will I get to that state? Because he knows he has paid the price. So, how can law of causation not function? Law of causation is based on cause and effect. So, if you put efforts, if you sow a particular cause, you have to get a particular effect. So, whole life you have that fixation. whole life you have worked on removing your desires, concerted efforts you are putting, physical, emotional, intellectual level. So you understand meditation is just a formality. How can you not get that effect? Which applies even for you and I. I mean, if you're a sincere student, you're putting concerted efforts, you have surrendered, your efforts are systematic. How can you not progress in a spiritual path? When you don't put systematic efforts, when you're not consistent, right, then you worry about it. Am I improving? I wish, I mean, I know I have the knowledge, but when I'm going to apply this knowledge, and will any quality seeker even think on these lines, isn't it? Today we are having this Diwali lunch. So all these ladies, they have put a lot of hard work and cooked a meal, isn't it? I don't know. I hope so. Yeah. I skipped my breakfast today. So they are so confident. See, they know they are good cooks. A lot of efforts have gone in. Also, it's cooked with love. So how can the group not enjoy that meal? Are you with me? So in that sense, so you are in a commanding position, not a demanding position. Why are you in a commanding position? Because you have put efforts. See, in Isavasya Upanishad, he puts it in a very dramatic way towards the end. So the high quality seeker on the verge of self-realization. So he's commanding to the providence, as it were. I mean, not to be taken literally. He's saying, I have paid the price. Now he says, remove that golden disc. I think that's the only barrier. Last desire is left. Now I have paid the price. Whatever humanly is possible, I have done. Now, why are you obstructing that with that golden disc? Remove that golden disc. Then the providence removes that golden disc. There is no such thing. But that's the quality of a high quality seeker. In that sense, fearless. And such a person, such a seeker, he is firm in the vow of brahmacharya. Brahmachari vrate stitaha, firm in the vow of brahmacharya. The moment we say brahmacharya, 99.99% people will they walk off. No, this is not meant for us, right? Now, there's a colossal misunderstanding of the word brahmacharya. So that's the reason nobody can come to a spiritual path. Maybe one in a 10 million, 100 million may make an attempt to follow the spiritual path because the word brahmacharya is misunderstood, especially in India. The Western world, since they don't know that word, they are saved, but Indians are in trouble because of the misunderstanding. So the etymological derivation of the word brahmacharya is Brahman iti charati. Brahman meaning supreme reality. Iti, he who. Charati, walks or revels. He who walks on the path of supreme reality. He who revels in that goal of self-realization. You can take even spiritual upliftment. It is one and the same thing. So he who walks on the path of Brahman, he who walks on the spiritual path, a seeker who has that fixation, is considered to be someone practicing brahmacharya. You getting it? Is what a concept it is. So if you have that fixation, goal could be absolute, goal could be relative. Absolute goal is I want, goal of self-realization. Relative goal could be I want to become a better human being. So how do you become better human being? By putting efforts to remove your desires step by step. So therefore you soft pedal on activities such activities which interfere with that goal. Are you with me? See, for example, all of you have the fixation that on Saturday morning we want to attend Bhagavad Gita class. Simple example I am giving you. And it is clashing with some, I don't know, baby shower. It's not that you should not attend baby shower, but if it is clashing, so what is your goal, relative point of view? What's your goal? To attend classes for what? For self-improvement. I want to become a better human being. This is my fixation, right? I have that goal. So therefore, Sunday morning, what will take priority? The class. If you are doing that, you are following brahmacharya. You can go for a baby shower. I mean, how does it matter? Anyway, it's a big gathering. You go late, nobody is going to notice. So I'm giving you simple example from day-to-day life. How would a health conscious person function? Another example. So if you have attained that state of health consciousness, right? How would such a person function? How would he eat? At home, at work, while traveling, in social gatherings? Are you with me? So it doesn't matter wherever you go, whatever activities you attend, you'll be health conscious. And even if you eat junk food once in a while, you're not going to lose that health consciousness. How does it matter if you have samosas once in a while? Oh, Americans donuts. I think Americans understand samosas now. Because even in Costco, it is available now, right? You're health conscious. Does it matter you eat donuts once in a while? Everyday donut means what health consciousness? So you have that health consciousness, right? Once in a while, you may miss exercise because of whatever reasons. You're not going to lose that awareness that I want to be healthy. So once you get that fixation in life, it could be absolute, it could be relative. See, it doesn't matter what you contact. And even if you contact the world, even if you contact the sense objects, you're not contacting that to indulge in it per se. That's the difference. You may understand that fine once in a while. I mean, I want to have a good meal. So what's wrong with that? So even if you have a good meal, you go out with the friends for some function. I mean, you're not going to lose that awareness of the goal. So that is brahmacharya. Brahma charati sthitaha, firm in the vow of brahmacharya. It is not self-denial. This is what people misunderstand. Brahmacharya means self-denial. Nobody can deny anything to himself or herself. Mind control. Such a person, his mind is under control. When he says mind control, meaning intellect has fixation, intellect has a goal, therefore mind cooperates. If there is no fixation, if there is no goal, yes, I want to become a better human being, I want to evolve spiritually, that's the fixation intellect has. If there is no such fixation, then it will not be, if there is no fixation, then it will be victimized by likes and dislikes and whims and fancies. Are you with me? Today, I don't feel like going for a class. You know why? Because I checked. I did not even know Vijay's address. I mean, I've been coming here for 3 years. I just come, but when I started from the house, suddenly there was a message. I think the Google and they all know where you are going every day. Take a detour because there is construction on the way. So I mean, usually I come here in 35 minutes. Today it took me 45, 50 minutes. I had to take some detour. So the mind can say, no, I don't feel like going today. Why? Instead of 30 minutes, it's going to take me 45 minutes. No, I have that goal. I'm just giving you simple example. There are people waiting here. We have decided to do in-person class. So therefore, I better go, whether I like it or not. So mind cooperates. Otherwise, full of likes and dislikes. Today, I don't feel like going. Today, there is karaoke. No? What is that? Yeah, karaoke. So I'm practicing. And nothing. Go for karaoke. Who's saying you should not go? But your likes and dislikes, they don't come in the way. So in that sense, mind cooperates when it has that fixation. And also, you don't function on whims and fancies of the mind. See, when we say you don't function on whims and fancies of the mind, you don't create unnecessary desires, which can become an obstacle in your way. See, as it is, we have enough desires. On top of that, why do you want to create desires which become an obstacle? Everything is going smooth in your life, for argument's sake, right? You have a job, nice job in a corporate sector, everything is perfect. And suddenly a thought comes to your mind, why not start a business? Because your cousin is willing to invest, or your friends, they say, okay, you must be having a lot of money, let's invest and let's start whatever. I'm not saying you should not start a business, right? But are you designed that way? Is that your mission in life? Is that your goal in life? If not so, unnecessarily you are creating that desire, and once you get into that, you have to deal with it. It's not easy to get rid of that desire. So therefore, mind cooperates. Are you with me? So mind control, meaning intellect has a fixation, therefore mind is not victimized by likes and dislikes, whims and fancies. Thinking of me, meaning thinking of the goal of self-realization or self-improvement. You can take it either way. So entire life you have been focused on that goal. So when you are in the seat of meditation, what will you think of? What will be your last thought by default? The goal of self-realization. Will such a person have any other thought in the seat of meditation? Answer could be yes, answer could be no. If there is no other thought, you mean you're ready for meditation. If you're not ready for meditation, nobody is ready for meditation. 99.99%. They do meditation for what? He says, thinking of me meaning supreme reality. So you could be literally thinking of me, yourself. Am I going to get peace? Am I going to become calm? The whole exercise is get rid of that I, that my, that ego. And you have put efforts through karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga to get rid of your egocentric desires. So how can such a person think about himself or herself in a seat of meditation? If you are thinking about yourself, about meditation, what will happen, will I be, will it be useful? You clearly know you are no way near meditation. It's not meditation. You may be meditating, but it's a mockery of meditation. So thinking of me, meaning all other thoughts are gone. That's the very definition of meditation. What's the definition of meditation? Single pointed thought to the exclusion of all other thoughts. So what is that single pointed thought? Hmm? The goal of self-realization to the exclusion of all other thoughts. So therefore, it depends on what you do between two sessions of meditation or study, as far as you and I are concerned. All of you are sincere, I know that. But what are you doing between two study sessions is a question. 1 hour, we all are sincere, we all are committed, we all are pure, there is no doubt about that. But most people innocently they are engaged in a diametrically opposite lifestyle. Here we learn higher values, correct? But what are you doing during the course of the week is the question. Most people, they're engaged in materiality and sensuality, steeped in materiality and sensuality. And then suddenly, okay, it is Saturday. Okay, let me, where is my book? It's not going to happen. So therefore, they are so practical. They give these three spiritual practices: karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. Whatever action, we all are engaged in action. So you need to purify your actions, right? Naturally, you have emotions through your mind, but your emotions at this moment are confined only to you and your family. You're not able to get that lift. Your emotions are not all encompassing. So how can you get that lift? Similarly, with intellect, what are you doing? You could be taking all mundane thoughts. Okay, election is over. For heaven's sake, now move on with life. I mean, I know some people, they're gone sort of crazy upset because the particular party they were supporting, they lost. And I'm not getting into the details. You may support any party. I mean, why not? But is this all you are taking into your system all the time? News, media. If yes, you will end up becoming like I don't know, like a toxic brew. I don't know how to explain toxic brew. Nobody can come near you. You know, all negative, pessimistic thinking. But also, you could be sincerely following Vedanta. You understand the paradox. So we often give example of I don't know whether I mentioned this. It's like scratching a wound. So you go to a doctor because there is a wound. You hurt yourself. Nicely, doctor dresses that wound. And what are you doing whole day? You're scratching that wound. Again, you go after a few days to a doctor, and instead of wound being healed, he sees, oh my God, it's become slightly bad. Again, he dresses it up. Again, you go on scratching that wound. That wound will never heal. So this is the plight of most spiritual seekers innocently. Long time back, I think 8 years back, 10 years back, I was lecturing somewhere, I think in America only. And it was a very nice topic. I think it was 20 qualities of a nanny or something like that. It was a lecture series. And people who had invited me, you know, nobody from here. So let me assure you that it was different audience altogether. So that particular day, I could not find parking in the main area, public parking. So in the back alley, I had to park somewhere. So they only showed me. So after the lecture, it took me 10-15 minutes to get to my car. I sort of got lost. And to my surprise, people who had invited me, they claim to be spiritual people, and some of them they teach meditation. 10 of them they were smoking, not ordinary smoke. You know what do we call that? Marijuana. Pot. Pot is the word. Pot. So all of them they were doing pot. And then they saw me. Your lecture makes us high. This takes it to the next level. They had to say something. Yeah. See, none of my business. I mean, you want to do pot? I mean, what I got to do? I mean, as long as you don't invite me, I'm okay. We're not going to interfere in anybody's lifestyle. You know, the person who is teaching meditation, so-called meditation, his pot was the biggest. So this is the plight of you and me. You understand? So therefore, he says, thinking of me, whole day you're scratching that wound. my money, my baby, my wealth, my power. It's impossible for you to come out of these thoughts. Impossible. It's not that you're not capable of doing that, but you're constantly scratching that wound. You're entertaining those thoughts. So one once in a week you attend study sessions is not going to help you. Now that does not mean stop. Thank you for telling me. There's a reason I never came for Vedanta classes. Don't take it to the extreme. So such a person is serene-minded, fearless, firm in the vow of brahmacharya, mind controlled, thinking of me, let him sit seeking union with me as the supreme. See, this is this is a description of a high quality seeker who is meditating. You getting it? 15, please.
युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी नियतमानसः शान्तिं निर्वाणपरमां मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी नियतमानसः शान्तिं निर्वाणपरमां मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति.
Thus, constantly seeking union with the self, the yogi, spiritual seeker, with his mind controlled, attains peace, culminating in supreme bliss, which abides in me. I think the ultimate peace, the absolute peace, infinite peace, you experience only when you reach the state of self realization. That's the simplest way to understand. Now, what we understand from this verse, there are three distinct experiences in life: extrovert, introvert, and merging with the self. Merging with the self is a state of self realization. Extrovert is a person who is inundated with desires, full of desires. So therefore, he is chasing objects and beings of the world. This is the definition of being extroverted. See, I repeat, there are three distinct experiences. This is what he is talking about: extrovert, introvert, and merging with the self. So, extroverted person, he is full of desires, loaded with desires. So, therefore, he is chasing objects and beings of the world to find happiness. He is trying to find happiness in the external world. He believes when he acquires objects and beings, it could be tangible, it could be intangible, his desires will be fulfilled. But what happens when you try to find happiness in the external world, when you try to fulfill your desires multiply. They don't reduce because it is backed by your mind. There is no intellect involved. So desires multiply. As a result, you remain mentally agitated because unfulfilled desires produce mental agitation. This is a definition of mental agitations. So extroverted people, they remain agitated. It's a question of more or less. And that is why beautifully author Schopenhauer, he says, how many times we quote him? It is difficult to find happiness within oneself. He admits it. It's no joke. It's not easy. It is difficult to find happiness within oneself. But it is impossible to find it anywhere else. And we all are trying to find happiness where? Anywhere else. Nobody is trying to find that happiness within by chasing desire. So how can you be happy? It's impossible. It's not your fault because the direction you are taking itself is wrong. So how can you find happiness? See, you want to go to Toronto from here. I think is towards east, right? You're going in a west direction. How will you reach Toronto? It's not possible because your direction itself is wrong. So similarly, your direction, your understanding itself is wrong, that happiness lies in the external world. So therefore, you keep on, your mind keeps on producing desires after desires, desires after desires. So therefore, such a person remains mentally disturbed, stressed in layman's language. So that is one experience that is extroverted. Most people, they belong to this category. Then there are introverts. Introverts meaning you have understood the purpose of your life, which is to find the state of self realization, or it could be relative. If you cannot relate to absolute level, relative level, you understand, I want to become a better human being. So the moment you change the direction, you are peaceful. Peace, we're not talking about like infinite peace. That's the reason people come and they tell me all the time, the moment I took up Vedanta, there is some kind of peace because the direction has changed. See, it's not that your desires are gone or something, they are very much there. But at least you have understood that there is no happiness in the external world and you are putting efforts, sincere efforts, concerted efforts to reach to that state, to fine tune your personality. So that pursuit itself gives you the peace. And if you continue with your efforts, they end with the goal of self realization, meaning you achieve that state of self realization, which is called as Akhanda Ananda. Ananda is bliss. Akhanda is unbroken bliss. Our bliss, our happiness, our peace is broken as long as your wife is happy, you are happy. Oh, your husband is happy, you are happy. If your wife is in a bad mood, I don't want to stretch it beyond a point. I mean, I don't want to spoil your Sunday or Saturday, whatever. If your spouse is in a bad mood, what happens? Whatever happens to you? I mean, that Akhanda Ananda is gone. The bliss is no more unbroken. Children are doing good. There's a smile on your face. There's a green wherever you go. No, there's a green. Yeah. Children are not doing the way you want them to do, and they will never do well according to you. I mean, you're not happy. Profit goes up, you're happy. Stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange index goes up, you're happy. It goes down, you are miserable. So your bliss, my bliss is never unbroken. So only when you reach the state of self-realization, you will experience unbroken bliss. But if you are extroverted, your life will be miserable. This is what you need to understand. It's a question of either more stress or less stress. I mean, it's a lose-lose situation. What kind of an option it is? Either you are a loser or you're a big loser. No, sorry, I don't want to be a loser. The moment you change the direction, fine, you're not hit the ultimate mark, but at least you're not a loser, isn't it? And another reason, see, the moment you are pursuing the world, you're trying to find happiness in the world. Why you remain mentally agitated? Because world cannot fit into your mental pattern, isn't it? See, the first main reason we discussed was the desires. Desires multiply. Now, the second analysis is world cannot fit into your mental pattern. So you remain disturbed, isn't it? You like summer. Come winter, what happens? What happens to us? You like to be honored. When you're dishonored, what happens? You want particular political party to win. When that party does not win, 4 years you are miserable. And there are people who are literally, some people, I think last time somebody made a statement. Where was it? I think I was in California that time, 2016 result. I was staying with one family. That boy got so dejected. He said, I'm going to leave America. American boy, he's saying. And luckily, his sister, she's part of us. She's done, she's my colleague in the Vedanta Academy. So the American people. So sister said, Jack, where will you go? Where will you go? On the end of the day, you me say wherever you go, America controls the whole world. Don't you know that? Better American is telling American. Beautifully, she explained to him. So the world does not fit into your mental pattern. Another thing is object may change. See, your mind may change. Your mind is never static, or the object changes. The simple example is you buy a house, right? You like that house, but suddenly your mind may change. Oh no, this house is too big. Oh no, this house is too small. So the house, either the object can change or your mind can change, but in reality, both are changing. So how can you find happiness in this changing world? This is the problem. So therefore, we say world is in the flux of a change. So the world is changing, your mind is changing, and therefore there's a constant friction. So how can you find happiness in this flux of a change? But when you are pursuing Atman, when you are pursuing self, Atman is changeless. See, therefore you get that fixation. Are you getting it? You may not experience it, but when somebody says, I want to achieve the state of self-realization, it is a state of changelessness. Self is the substratum of the entire world, the entire universe. So anybody who has that fixation, he wants to reach that state, he is pursuing what? The changeless entity. We may not, we don't know what it is, but instantly there is that fixation. I hope you are getting it. And another reason is why he says, which was we're doing 15, right? Bliss which abides in me attains peace, culminating in supreme bliss, which abides in me. So when he says it abides in me, meaning your original nature is self. Your original nature is peace. Your original nature is bliss. That is your dharma. There's a meaning of the word dharma, isn't it? Dharma is quintessence of anything, which makes it what it is, without which it is not what it is. Dharma of anything, the quintessence of anything, which makes it what it is, without which it is not what it is. So your dharma, my dharma, your quintessential nature is supreme peace, supreme bliss. You are that self. It's like the dharma of sugar is what? Sweetness. Dharma of fire is heat. You can never have a sample of sugar which is spicy. Can you serve spicy sugar, please? I mean, what are you saying? Can I have cool fire? There is no such thing called as cool fire, right? So similarly, your dharma, your essence, the substratum of your personality is not body, mind, intellect. So your dharma, the quintessence of your personality, is absolute peace, absolute bliss. So how can you find happiness by pursuing body, mind, intellect? This is what all of us are doing. You're trying to find peace in the external world by indulging in desires at action, emotion, and intellectual level, body, mind, intellect level. So you're going against your dharma, you're going away from your dharma. How can you find peace? The direction itself is wrong. So therefore, beautifully, he says, attains peace, meaning your journey also is peaceful. It's not that only when you reach self-realization you become absolutely peaceful. To the extent you change your direction, to the extent you start putting efforts, to that extent you become peaceful. And then it culminates in the state of self-realization. Peace culminating in supreme bliss, which abides in me, meaning that is your dharma, that's your original nature. So it is a win-win situation. Are you getting it? So three experiences: extrovert, introvert, and merging with the self. So you find out where you want to go, your call, your life. Verse number 16, please.
नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तमनश्नतः न चातिस्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तमनश्नतः न चातिस्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन.
Verily, yoga is not, yoga meaning spiritual practice. Verily, yoga is not for him who eats too much or does not eat at all, nor for him who sleeps too much or keeps awake. O Arjuna, so he's addressing all of us. So, verse number 16, he gives disqualifications, meaning what retards your spiritual progress. That's what it means. So, what retards your spiritual progress is when you don't moderate or regulate your life's activities, all activities. The word is excess. Either you do it too much or you don't do it at all. Could be anything. So I'm going to explain what it means. It's all used symbolically. Eats too much, does not eat at all. It's all symbolic. The easiest way to understand this verse is the concept of sattva, rajas, and tamas. So these are three mental textures every human being has. There's no exception. But that proportion changes from person to person. These are thought patterns. You can call it A, B, C. So sattva is a person, sattvic person, he is matured, calm, composed, applies his intellect in all activities of life. That is sattvic person. Rajasic person is mind-led. There is feverish excitement in whatever he does. He is involved, he is attached in all activities. He is possessive about whatever he does. And tamasic person is lazy, heedless, indifferent, doesn't care about the consequences. So every human being is made up of these three thought patterns. The proportion changes from person to person. So when he says eats too much or does not eat at all, it is used symbolically, but also it can be taken literally. And it doesn't need any explanation. I mean, you don't need Bhagavad Gita to tell you you should not overeat. You don't need Bhagavad Gita to tell you don't eat at all. All the time, what are you eating? Soup and salad, soup and salad. It's okay. How can you just have soup and salad? The body needs something nourishing. Other thing is every day samosa, every day ice cream, every day donut, overeating all the time. So it's common sense. But what it means, as far as you and I are concerned, you moderate, regulate all intakes at physical, mental, and intellectual level. It's a practical explanation. Watching too much TV, binge watching, all the time. Downton Abbey. There are people who told me they watch 5 in a row. I mean, we also watch. I mean, I loved it personally. Long time back, I used to watch with Rucha. But then somebody told me that they watched. It was 1 hour or something like that. 5 in a row. I mean, it's too much. It could be anything. There are people who watch movies back to back, 2, 3, 4, whole day cricket. The TV is on. Listening to music all the time or not listening at all. That is if you want to listen. Like we always recommend listen to devotional music like bhajans in our context. One thing is all the time you're listening. No, it is on. You're driving, bhajans are going on. You know, I mean, it has got no meaning. There is no value. Other thing is not at all. If you feel there is a need, you do it. Talking all the time. It is others, people around you, they feel like running away from you. Other thing is not saying a word at all when you are supposed to say. Other is you have to say something because you have to say something, whether others want it or not. Other extreme is even when you're supposed to say something, you don't say something. If you're obliged to say something, participate in the conversation, you have to do that. Other extreme is all the time talking, and other extreme is what are the two extreme? All the time talking or not talking at all. So follow middle path. All the time socializing. There are 7 days in a week. You have 108 baby showers to attend. Don't ask me how. Other extreme is I don't socialize at all. So we are Vedantin. We don't socialize. You better start socializing. So at least you will start identifying with others. I mean, when you're supposed to, don't take it literally. So no extremes as far as your perception is concerned. When it comes to emotion, either too emotional or indifferent. Too emotional, I mean, you need a paper napkin all the time, otherwise you can't survive, right? Indifferent is no emotions at all. No, I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to know how food is served on my table. You know, you better find out. Nothing to do with what you have to eat. If you have an ounce of emotions, how can you hurt another being and eat? Other thing is, oh my God, how can they eat meat? How can they eat meat? How can they eat meat? Restaurant has to be 100% vegetarian. Any spelling also in next door restaurant also meat. I won't go there. Extremes. You see what I am trying to say? And also when it comes to manifesting emotions, one thing is all the time you are honeying and babying, right? You know what happens. Other thing is no expression at all. So when you're supposed to manifest your emotions, even towards your children, you have to do it intelligently. If you keep on manifesting your emotions all the time, I mean, they'll be completely ruined. It's like giving sugar to somebody all the time. What will happen? Diabetes. Diabetes. So it's emotional diabetes they will get. Even your spouse also. All the time, first of all, we are such husbands. I mean, but who are like honeying and babying their uh, spouses all the time. But even if you have the feelings, please don't do it intelligently. Otherwise, honey will be ruined completely. Don't spoil her. So either you manifest emotions indiscriminately or you don't manifest at all. Use your intellect and manifest your emotions. Similarly, when it comes to thoughts, too much study. No, there is no method, there is no systematic approach. Therefore, you remain a confused person. No efforts to absorb knowledge at all. How many times we have said that? Most people don't study. Those who study, they go reading books after books. There is no method in their study, so they remain confused. Other extreme is you don't study at all. So whatever is required, you have to study as per your capacity. And your study has to be systematic. You need to put efforts to absorb what you have studied. So that's the middle path. And when he says sleeps too much or keeps awake, it means proper rest is necessary. It's a common sense. Now, don't ask me, no, I mean, how long. Again, don't take it. No, I need 12 hours of sleep. You know it is too much. No, I'm okay with 3.5 hours of sleep. You may be okay. Eventually, it will catch up with you. So whatever it may be, let's say 6.5 hours. This is the formula Swamiji has hit. You come to your own formula. But personally, if you ask me, last 30 years, I've been getting up at 4:15 in the morning, right? And I hit the bed at 9:30. And most afternoon, I sleep for 30 to 45 minutes. So it is enough. This is my personal experience. So 6.5 hours is fair enough. Exception could be there. Sometimes you're involved in a project or something. You may have to work for 12, 14, 15, 16 hours, but it can't be every day. So proper rest is required because body, mind, intellect has to be kept in good repair. It's like a car, you're not bothered about it at all the time, driving. You're not checking air pressure, you're not checking the signs on the dashboard. The other car is lying all the time in the garage. If you leave it beyond a point, tires will wear out. Anybody knows? In one spot for 4 or 5 months, that particular area goes bald, So that again, two extremes. So proper rest is necessary. So the simple way to understand this verse is you need to moderate, regulate your activities, whatever you do in life. And for that, you need intellect. If you are operating at the level of the mind, you cannot moderate, you cannot regulate. Even the higher values of life, mind takes over. Like you want to study, definitely, it's a higher value. But if your intellect is not involved, instead of studying for 45 minutes, you will end up studying for 2, 3 hours. Few days, okay. Beyond the time you do that, you will go insane. Exactly same thing for meditation. You need to understand what is your capacity to meditate. 99.99% they are not ready for meditation. And they try and they understand that this is not my cup of tea, right? So they give up. But there are 0.1% who try to push. That's not their capacity and they break down. So you need to apply yourself. So it is intellect which should supervise all your life's activities, even the recreation. I think next verse is going to make it clear. See, they're not against recreation. You want to feel like going out with your family. What's wrong with that? Other thing is during COVID time also you have to go. I know a couple of people who went to Russia during COVID time. They're so desperate, they have to travel somewhere. The whole world had shut down. I don't know. Maybe Russia was open. Wearing mask, double mask, they went to Russia. Moderate everything. And when you moderate, regulate, what happens? Verse number 17, 18 explains that, which we'll do next week. So there is a small announcement, Radha.
There will be lecture today.
Hari Om. This year's annual public lecture by Amit Ji will be on the topic Peace is Your Choice. This event is on November 10th, tomorrow evening, between 5 to 6 p.m., held in Ann Arbor, University of Michigan Hall at Pierpont Commons in the North Campus. You must have already received an email regarding this event with all the details. The posting is also on the WhatsApp VIM community group. There is free parking available as it is a Sunday and the details of the parking lots are given in the email. Please do not miss this event if you live in the Metro Detroit or the Greater Detroit area. This is a live event only. No broadcast or recording will be available. If you have any questions regarding this event or have not received the email yet, please send us an email to studyclass@vedantamidverse.org. Thank you.
So let's conclude for today. And I will see you next week.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Amitji. Thank you.
Thank you, Amitji.
Thank you, Amaji.
Thank you.
Have a good
Hari
day.
Om, Amit. Thank
Hari Om,
you.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om, everybody. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You worthy. He said it.